Mission accomplished. You're very welcome to Vinnie's Day Off. Thanks for dropping in. I was reading the blade forums, and this chap told a yarn about how he became trapped in a deep, thorny brush. And he happened to have his 12-inch bowie with him, and he whipped it out and he hacked his way through the brush. This is a good and manly tale, and having a 12-inch bowie is a good and manly thing. But is it the best tool for the job? Now, I've had quite a bit of experience with cutting through brambles and brush and thorns. I grew up on a farm and I did quite a bit of it, and I have some thoughts on it. Anyway, to get to the point, I actually have a tool that I think is much better and safer, and I've been using it now for many years. And it's this, your gardener's secateurs. Okay, let me show you this close up. So there we go. This one is just a cheapo from Lidl's. Lidl is a German supermarket chain. They have a good many branches in Ireland, and on a regular basis they come out with various special offers of kind of DIY tools. This one costs $3.49. Now, I normally wouldn't recommend a very cheap item, but I've been using these for quite some years now. You'll get much more than your money's worth from these. I have managed to break them, but only after extreme abuse, cutting things I shouldn't have been cutting with them. For normal cutting, I find they last very well. I've tried out the different types. You have what's called a bypass and an anvil, I believe, secateurs. This one bites down onto the bar, as you can see. I prefer these. The bypass can become strained. It's more like a scissors where the blades pass each other, and they can become strained by when you're cutting basically branches you shouldn't be cutting with them. So let's try this out. Now, I'm not proposing this for ATVs or snowmobiles or the like. This is for a person on foot, just to get their way through the brush. And it's quite handy for this close quarter stuff where you don't have a whole lot of room. It's also good for camp, to get rid of anything that might stick out and poke yourself in the eye during the night in the dark perhaps. The going isn't too bad here. This is gorse. It's maybe not the most vicious thorny material you can come across, but it's certainly not pleasant when you're in jeans like I am and a light coat and t-shirt. Better get it out of the way. This would be good for your hunter. Let's say you get into your area before hunting season. You're not drawing attention to yourself, and you can make some nice discreet tracks that need only be known to yourself. So when hunting season rolls around, you're not making any noise. You're moving very quietly through your brush. This takes a little bit of time, but you'll make your way through nice heavy brush with it. a bramble, you snip at both ends, let it fall. You don't need a big space, you just don't want it tearing against your skin or your clothes and puncturing you and hurting you. And you need not, you can avoid the heaviest part of it and go through the easier stuff for yourself. So there you go. Now, some of these have a wider gape than others. These don't have a very wide gape here. But if you find branches are too tough or strong for these to cut, just as with the knife, if you put a bend on it, it will make it much easier for your secateurs to cut through it. So let's try that. It flies through it, where otherwise it might struggle. Try it again. This is a bit thick even for the gape. No trouble. So bending works with these as well. And as I say, where the going gets really heavy, that's where your folding saw is the man. You take your larger branches out of the way, cut the rest with your secateurs. You don't need much space at all. You can cut a very narrow path through your brush to wherever you need to go. This is the little Silky F180. It's the cheapest, as far as I know, it's the cheapest Silky you can buy. I find it to be a very good cutting saw. It's a very good cutter. Now for some reason you'll get certain famous people acting the fool with these, pretending they don't know how to use them. These cut on the pull only. Now the only problem I found with these is if you overdraw, the blade can snag and it can flex alarmingly. I probably recommend a longer blade and not to use all of the blade. Don't draw it back too far. That's the only fault I found with these. Otherwise it's a very good cutting saw. Anyway guys, that's my tip for today. The best tool for cutting your way through brush, the garden secateurs, the anvil type in my opinion. And for the heavy stuff, couple it with your folding saw. I've been using this for a good many years, and with a little bit of time, this will take you through very heavy brush. Just one more thing I forgot to mention. When you're cutting brambles will often grow across the trail. They grow up through the brush, come across the trail and down again. They're tough and hard to cut, and if you don't hit them quite right, they can spin around and catch you across the face or across your hands or whatever. So yet another reason to use your secateurs. Cut it on either end, the middle portion will drop to the ground harmlessly. Less danger. I'd also like to apologise for the lack of videos lately. Here in Ireland we've had some atrocious weather for the last maybe 6 weeks. We've had nothing but high wind and very heavy rain. There was no hope of making any kind of a video at all outdoors. I've been off for a few days. We've had some beautiful weather, and myself and the boss here we've been walking the legs off ourselves, making the best of it. So hopefully the weather will pick up and we'll get a few more videos made. So thanks very much for sticking with us. So there you have it, guys, the best tool, or indeed tools, for cutting your way through bush. I hope it was useful to you or interesting, and thanks very much for watching Vinnie's Day Off. Bye bye.